On the 57th episode of the HatTrick Sports Podcast, we're going to be talking about the start of the Olympics. The MLB Trade Deadline is coming up. New contracts in the NFL are taking place. We're going to be ranked in the top 5 countries with the most Olympic medals. We are going to be talking about some NBA contracts just signed and some post-game news. And we're going to end it off with some Hall of Fame. Yay or nay. Special shout out to Prime Hydration for powering this week's podcast. Roll it. Welcome to HatTrick Sports, starring your host, Isaiah Carpenter. Bringing you the biggest sports headlines every week. This is the HatTrick Sports Podcast. All right, let's just get started. We are here talking about the Olympics. Now, the Olympics just took off. Now, the opening of the Olympics, I know, was a little, I don't know how to describe it, but I know a lot of people weren't pleased about it. Again, I don't get into religion or politics or all that, but I just know a lot of people were, there was little whispers going on about what happened at the opening ceremony for the Olympics. But other than that, it's been a great start. USA just got a few gold medals. I believe swimming, we just got a gold medal. Yeah, just in the last hour before I filmed this, we got I think it was something swimming, 100 meters women, something like that. But I want to first off by saying this, the Olympics, I love the Olympics, but the U.S. has the best athletes of all time. The U.S. produces the most athletes, maybe not produces, but most athletes compete in the U.S. level. And I'd just like to, again, I don't get into politics or religion, but I will say that the U.S. is the best at sports and athletes. You see we're the best in baseball, football, basketball, soccer, maybe not the best at, we're not the best at soccer, but we're great at hockey. We're great at all these sports. We have some of the best athletes in the world, and I want to give a shout out to the U.S. Olympic team. Go U.S. Obviously rooting for the U.S. throughout this whole thing. We were only a day in. They already got 2 golds, 4 silvers, 3 bronze with a total of 9 medals so far. But yes, the U.S. has the best athletes of all time. And so shout out U.S. athletes, all U.S. athletes out there. But yes, the Olympics are starting off. Like I said, the U.S. already has 2 gold medals. They have 4 silver and 3 bronze. If you want to get more into that. In cycling mountain bike, they have a silver. Cycling road, we have a bronze. Diving, we have silver. And then swimming, we have 2 gold medals in swimming, one for men's, one for women's. And I know there's different races for each one. One second, I'm going to button this down real quick. Get this, because I know I'm going to need it. We got a lot to talk about today. All right, we're back. We're back at it. People's Republic of China, they have 3 gold medals, 1 bronze and 2 silvers with a total of 6. And they got their gold in diving, shooting. Australia is in first so far. They have a total of 6 medals. They have they have 1 in canoe slalom, never heard of it. They have 1 in cycling road, and then they have 2 in swimming. Just like the U.S., they have 2 silvers also in swimming. So with a total of 6. So yeah, so 1 in canoeing, 1 in cycling, 2 golds in swimming, and then 2 silvers in swimming. France is in second so far. Again, we're only a day in. At the time of this recording, we're only a day in. They have 3 golds. They have 1 in cycling mountain bike, 1 in rugby sevens, and then 1 in swimming. And then they have silvers in fencing and judo. And then they have 2 bronze in judo. And then Japan's in third with a total of 6 medals. Republic of Korea has 6 medals. People's Republic of China has 6 medals. And then the United States has a total of 9 medals, but only 2 golds, which is why they're technically in 6th place. But again, we're only 1 day into this thing. There's a whole bunch more to go. I believe this lasts until August 11th, if I'm not mistaken. So it's a multi-week thing, and it's the Olympics. We're trying to figure out which country has the best athletes. And I know that they also announced South Korea as North Korea, which obviously isn't good at all. So the Olympics committee did mess up a little bit at the beginning, but you know what? All that doesn't really matter. It's all about the athletes and having your country win. It's a great time and all. But the Canadian women's soccer team was deducted 6 points, and their head coach was suspended for 1 year for drone spying. Now, we've seen some of this in the NFL and in the MLB. You see some cheating and stuff, scandals like this, and this seems pretty serious. Now, I don't follow Canadian women's soccer hardly at all, but I was informed that there was a drone spying. So again, like I said, FIFA is deducting 6 points, and the head coach, I don't have good handwriting. I don't even know what that says. Bev something, I wouldn't be able to pronounce it anyway, is suspended for 365 games. So yeah, don't spy on other teams. It's just that simple. But enough with the Olympics. We are on to the MLB and the trade deadline. The trade deadline is coming up. When is the MLB trade deadline? Now, I'm not sure when exactly the date it is. Oh, it is. All right. So it's July 30th. So it's in a couple days. July 30th at 6 p.m. We've already seen some traction through that. One of the bigger names, Jazz Chisholm Jr., he was with the Marlins, and obviously the Marlins, oh, man. I'm watching the Dodgers-Astros game, and I thought that the Astros just hit a home run. But anyway, Jazz Chisholm just signed with the Yankees. He was with the Marlins. The Marlins, I don't even have 40 wins at the time of this recording. But Jazz Chisholm goes to the Yankees, and they're not sure where they'll place him because obviously you got Verdugo, Soto, and Judge out there. But they also said that the trade deadline isn't done yet, so there may be some trades involving... Oh, boy. There may be some trades involving Jazz Chisholm or potential Yankees outfielders. So where do you guys think we'll go? Where do you guys think Jazz Chisholm will go, or how do you think the trade deadline will take place? One of the smaller news is James Paxton was DFA'd by the Dodgers earlier this week or last week maybe. Something's wrong with this mic. But anyway, James Paxton, he is headed to Boston, and I think they gave us like a minor league prospect. James Paxton, we have a ton of pitchers, they're just all on the IL. We might be able to get Crochet, the Dodgers, I'm talking about when I say we. They might be able to get Garrett Crochet, I know that's in the talks. Isaac Pered, I don't know how to pronounce his. Oh, let me get a contract just signed just before we started recording. Isaac Paredes, he just went to the Cubs for... Who did they get? They got somebody in a couple minor league prospects, but I'm not going to cover too much on that because I wasn't able to fit it all in because this just happened. It's breaking, like within the last hour, this was official. So I'll probably talk about that next week or if at all. But he is now a Cub. Freddie Freeman, he has played every game up until a couple days ago. His son, Max, is unfortunately, it sounds like he's in the ER and not doing so well. So Freddie met his wife and kids at the ER after a couple nights ago after the game, and he has taken a family emergency list. There's it's not the IL, but it's for family emergencies pretty much, and he has taken some time off. I'm not going to cover too much on it. I don't want to cover a whole bunch of personal life of his. I know it's probably a traumatic time in his and his family's life, but again, hope all is well in the Freeman family, and I hope Freddie comes back when he's ready and his family's good and healthy and all that. So I hope all is good in the Freeman family. It's unfortunate to see, but yeah, family does come first in that situation. So that's why Freeman took some time off. What else? Trade deadline. Phillies acquire Austin Hayes from the Orioles. And Austin Hayes loves it. He went from one first place team to the other, and he's like, "Hey, I think we have a better shot at winning the World Series here in Philly." And that's I know you got to say that when you're with a new team, but buddy, you were just signed 12 hours ago. How are you already going to say that? But good for him. Obviously, his words is when you're a player, you want to get traded to the best team, and he was obviously on the Orioles, one of the best teams in the league, but he was bumped up higher to the Phillies, who are also an incredibly good team right now. Let's see. The Orioles are one game ahead of the Yankees. Obviously, the AL East is in a tough race, but the Phillies, on the other hand, are in first by 9.5 games, but they're 9.5 games above the Braves, so they've obviously secured their spot, and they are going for the 1 seed in the National League playoffs, and Austin Hayes is here for it. Randy Arozarena, so he was one of the first big guys. 1 second. Arozarena was one of the first guys to get traded in this trade deadline season in the last week or so. He was obviously with the Rays. Now, how are the Rays doing this season? Long story short, the Rays are not doing good. They're 8 games back. They're 4th in their division. Them and the Blue Jays. Now, it's a hard division. They're doing good. They're 54-52, so they're not a horrible team. It's just the division they're in. So, I guess they had to get rid of some guys. You know, they're not really in it. The Mariners are in it. They're 1 game, at the time of this recording, now this could fluctuate by the time this comes out, but they are 1 game behind the Astros right now. The Astros are about to lose to the Dodgers live on HatTrick Sports. We are here watching James Outman, who hit a home run earlier in this game. But anyway, Randy Arozarena to the Mariners, and he spends his last day in Tampa in the stands with his family, saying goodbye to his family and friends. Well, obviously, he's going to take his family, but saying bye to the fans of Tampa. Obviously, he was a big guy in Tampa. He was one of the names in the 2020 World Series. He was great. He was a stud in that series and in that year, in the Mickey Mouse year, whatever you want to say. But yeah, good for him. He's going on to the Mariners. He won his first game in Seattle. He moved from Tampa, which is in the west side of Florida, kind of midwest side of Florida, all the way to the northwest side of the country. He moved from one of the southernmost states, the southeastern part of the country, all the way to the northwestern part of the country. That's with time difference, with temperature change. Obviously, it's 100 degrees in Florida right now. What's the temperature? Seattle, it must be a lot colder. So it's a huge adjustment for him. It's 60 degrees in the middle of summer in Seattle. So it's a big adjustment. Again, time changes, all that to get adjusted to. But they do end up winning their first game with Arozarena there. So yeah, good for him. And one more thing we got to talk about in MLB, the Padres and Dylan Cease throw a no-hitter, their second ever no-hitter. Joe Musgrove, obviously, a few seasons ago, threw the no-hitter, but he struck out 9, only walked 3, and the 28-year-old right-hander, it was his 3rd complete game, and then he's had 145 starts, and he throws the no-hitter all by himself, 114 pitches, I believe. Yes, 114 pitches, a career-high amount of pitches. And, yeah. In the game that included a 1... Yeah, and on top of all that, there was a 1 hour, 16-minute rain delay on top of all that. So with all that being said, he's still in the Padres. Again, 99% of it goes to the pitcher, 1% goes to the field, but pretty much it's 75 to the pitch. It really should be 75 to the pitcher, 25, because there was some good plays. There's always that good play in the perfect game or no-hitter that stops or that prevents the no-hitter from being broken up or whatever. But again, with all that being said, it was against the Nationals. Now, the Nationals are an absolute nobody, and when I mean absolute nobody, I mean like they're 16.5 games behind in the NL East. The Marlins are only worse than them. They don't even have 50 wins yet, but you know, it's still a no-hitter. It's still good to see anyway. And the White Sox are shaking their heads at it because obviously the Dylan Cease was 1 out away from a no-hitter against the White Sox a few seasons ago. And we all know how that went. But just crazy. Congratulations, Dylan Cease. I know I'm a Dodgers fan, but it's great to see. It's great to see that. It's great to see great baseball, if that makes sense. It's great to see great baseball, no matter who you're rooting for. You obviously want a boost in the game, and this obviously does it. But congratulations, Dylan Cease and the Padres for their second franchise no-hitter. On top of all that, it's great to see Dylan Cease and Joe Musgrove hugging it out. They're the only 2 Padres to ever throw a no-hitter. And that picture is absolutely iconic until the next no-hitter for the Padres is being thrown. But that picture should be put in the Hall of Fame or something somewhere. 2 guys, no-hitters, the only 2 guys in the franchise history. Now, the Padres are a young team, but all that being said, it's still a great, great accomplishment. All right. On to NFL news. The Raiders are on. They're trying to tick off some people. They had a Kermit the Frog from like the Muppets or whatever. They had that in Patrick Mahomes' outfit, mocking Patrick Mahomes. Now that is like poking a bear. I'm not sure about any of you guys watching this, but I do not want to poke a bear, and that is exactly what the Raiders did. Patrick Mahomes pretty much, one second. Patrick Mahomes responds to it, basically saying it's still early in the year. Stuff like that happens. It'll get handled when it gets handled. That is what Patrick Mahomes has to say, and that's honestly what he should. Now, I wouldn't really worry about losing that game, the Chiefs and the Raiders games. I wouldn't necessarily worry about losing those games, but staying alive during those games, because obviously Patrick Mahomes has all these guys backing him up. Like, have you seen some of these O-line and D-linemen? These guys are going to mess up some Raiders players. Oh, 1 second. But yeah, not good for the Raiders. I don't know why they did that, but that is not good for them. Oh man! And after all of that, all of that, the Raiders are not as good as the Chiefs. Like, they're gonna lose by 100 to them. You got the greatest quarterback in the NFL fired up. Like, what? Not good. I don't know why the Raiders did that. That was a very, very bad idea. They poked the bear in the wrong spot. What else? We got some extensions. Tua Tagovailoa signs a 4-year, $212 million extension with the Dolphins. So congratulations to him. What are the highest paid QBs in the NFL? I don't know when this is. Oh, that is going to include that. So at 1, you got Trevor Lawrence with a salary of 50. Oh, something's wrong with this. Got to fix the mic. All right, sorry about that. That's been like that. All right. But yeah, Trevor Lawrence and the Jags. I think that says, I don't know what that stands for. But Jordan Love is now the 3rd highest paid QB in the NFL. Tua is number 4. At 1, you got T-Law, and at number 2, you got Joe Burrow. And speaking of Joe Burrow came back to training camp with a whole new cut, a whole new style. He buzzed his hair and bleached his hair, and it's given like Ken from Barbie. You guys ever watched the Barbie movie? I feel like he would play a good role in that. Like, Ryan Gosling, move aside. You got Joe Burrow up next. Could be the next A-list actor. So yeah, that's pretty much all I want to talk about Joe Burrow. But Jordan Love, like I said, he also signed a contract, a 4-year, $220 million, just $8 million above Tua's contract with the Packers. Now, he is highly overpaid, I believe. I think that Jordan Love is very overpaid. What's 220 divided by 4? 220 divided by 4. Yeah, $55 million a year is a whole bunch of money. I'm not sure how much of that is guaranteed right now, but I feel like both these guys are super overpaid. The Packers are obviously not that good, and then the Dolphins are actually pretty good. But that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money, if we're being honest. But I think that is it for NFL news. All right, we are going to be ranking the top 5 countries with the most Olympic medals. So obviously, like I talked about, the Olympics are taking place, and so we must rank the countries with the most total medals. So this is bronze, silver, and gold. And like, gold isn't 3 points, silver 2, bronze 1. It's not like that. It's legit total medals. What a gold and a bronze equals the same. So at number 5, we have China with 636 medals. Now, this is of all time. Like, when did the Olympics start? It started in 776 BC. So, China in all that time has 636 total medals. At number 4, we have Great Britain. The Brits got 916 total medals. Germany with over 1,000 in 3rd place. They have 1,386 total medals. Now, this is not including the 2024 Olympics. This is everything before that. So by the time this comes out, everybody will have a few more medals, whatever. This is not including that. At number 2, runner-up to number 1, Russia has At number 2, Russia has 1,624 medals in the Olympics. And then at number 1, the greatest country of all time, the most athletic country of all time, the United States of America, RAR, 2,629 medals. So USA has the most medals in Olympic history, and they were only, again, the Olympics started in 776 BC. The US became a country in like 1776 AD. So USA is just on top of everything. But all that being said, all that done, congratulations to all countries that made this list. But you know, your boys, the USA, are on top of it all. All right, let's see. Let's go on to some NBA. NBA. Some sad stuff in the NBA is going on inside the NBA. Will have their last season in the 2024-2025 season. It's sad to see. Chuck says that the NBA has been preying on their downfall for the entirety of the history of inside the NBA. But TNT matched Amazon's offer to keep inside the NBA, but the NBA quickly shut that down. Next season will be the last season for inside the NBA. Charles Barkley did say that they are disappointed in all of this and all this happened, but they will give it their all in their last season. Now, I'm hoping ESPN or something, like, there's like another one of these kind of shows. But yeah, this is generational talent at its finest. If you guys have never watched Inside the NBA, go next season, go watch it. It's just absolutely incredible. You have Shaq, Chuck, who else on the Ernie, inside the NBA. So Warner Bros. Discovery has not secured the rights to continue broadcasting NBA games on TNT, but beyond next season. 1 second. Yeah, so there's obviously Charles Barkley and Shaq, which I think are the two best. There's Kenny Smith, and then there's Ernie Johnson, who has been on inside the NBA. But it's sad to see. But I do think that ESPN or maybe not TNT, but Amazon, like they'll do stuff. They'll make another show. It's not going to be directly called Inside the NBA. It's not going to be Inside the NBA, but it's going to be something that closely resembles that. I hope. And Charles Barkley did say that it's sad that owners like to see money over their fans, which is true. I mean, you guys are making millions on millions of dollars, if not billions of some franchises. But it is sad to see that Inside the NBA will only have one more season left in its running. But what else is there? Russell Westbrook signs a 2-year, $6.8 million deal with the Nugs. Nugs, not drugs, y'all. So yeah, he's gonna be their sixth man, which is not a bad sixth man at all. Russell Westbrook is obviously really, really good, especially in his career. But yep, that is it for NBA. I believe I thought this was gonna take a lot longer, but let's talk about one of the greatest Americans of all time, Pat McAfee. What a career this dude has had. What all has he done? He was obviously a punter with the Colts. He obviously runs the Pat McAfee show. WWE color commentator, sports analyst, and obviously he's done a great job with College Game Day, but his contract has recently expired with College Game Day. So he has... One second. But Pat McAfee has come out saying that he will resign and will be part of College Game Day once again, which is absolutely incredible. Again, this is one of the greatest Americans in all. Like, just think about, as a kid, what do you want to do with your life? Oh, you want to play in the big leagues. All right, so he goes on to be a punter, and then he's a sports analyst. Then he's going into WWE, commentating there. Then he has his own show. I mean, Pat McAfee has one of the greatest careers in all of mankind, and this is just talking about how he re-signed with College Game Day, as he should. He is what makes all of those guys are what makes college football so special. They connect with the players. This is just College Game Day is like inside the NBA. It's just absolutely incredible. It's outside of the sport. It's obviously not like during the sport, if that makes sense, like not commentating during the sport, but College Game Day goes beyond the sport a little bit. Talk about stories. He brings the energy to College Game Day. Just what a career that Pat McAfee has, and all I can say is heck yeah. But yeah, congratulations, Pat McAfee, on an amazing career. All right, we are going to be moving on to my favorite segment, Hall of Fame Yay or nay? All right, Hall of Fame, yay or nay? Now, I picked one last minute. I think we may have already done him, but I'm not sure. But it was last minute. We have Matt Kemp. Matt Kemp, obviously, I'm the Dodgers fan. Matt Kemp played for the Dodgers for quite a while. He played with the Dodgers from 2006 to 2018. No, sorry. There were some times in between, but he played for the Dodgers, Padres, Braves, Reds, Rockies. He played all around. He had his time in the NL West, but obviously but mainly with the Dodgers. Let's see. He's a 3-time All-Star, 2-time Silver Slugger, 2-time Gold Glove. He played from 2006. He played 15 years from 2006, and then he retired in 2020. He had his last few games. He's not. Looking at his stats now, he's not a Hall of Famer. Again, I picked this last minute. I didn't look at the stats or anything. But let's talk about the career that he's had. He had over 6,300 at-bats, over 1,800 hits, 287 home runs with a career batting average of .284, which is very high. It's higher than average. He has 950 runs, over 1,000 RBIs, 184 stolen bases with an OPS of .821 with an OPS plus of 121. And he led the league in games played in 2010 with obviously 162. Obviously, that's tied with some other people. He had the most runs with 115 in 2011. The most home runs, 39 in 2011. The most RBIs in 2011. The higher OPS plus with 172 in 2011. And he had 353 total bases, which was also a season record in 2011. He was an all-star, and then he was runner-up for MVP that year. He never won MVP. He came close. He was the runner-up, and then in 2009, he was 10th. And then other than that, he wasn't. So he's not a Hall of Famer. If we're being honest, I didn't realize that going into this, but he's not a Hall of Famer. It is a nay for Hall of Fame, but he had a great career. I mean, as a Dodgers fan, I loved him. He had the highest WAR in 2011 with an 8.0 wins above replacement. And then, he was a great guy. He was a great player. He was great to the Dodgers. But with all of that being said, I think that is it. It's a nay. Matt Kemp is a nay for the HatTrick Hall of Fame. He does not get in, unfortunately. Great. He's in the Hall of Good. He's in the Hall of Very Good. I could say the Hall of Very Good. But he is not in the Hall of Fame. But I think that is it. So thank you guys for watching the 57th episode of the HatTrick Sports Podcast. You can listen wherever you listen to podcasts. You can go to YouTube, watch all the visuals. Make sure to follow our short-form content on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, X, Twitter. Shout out to Prime Hydration for sponsoring this week's podcast. And we will see you guys next week for episode 58.